taking three.
Going for the St. Louis now.
Oh no!
Son of a bitch.
You get your two?
Yeah. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thotgor here, of course. And today we are going to take a look at the Tier 6 Russian cruiser. Yes, I got the Russian cruiser last night. What it ended up having was, it turned out I had enough gold to buy 2 months of premium, so I went ahead and did that. And then I had about, I think it was like 244 gold remaining, so I just went ahead and converted free experience, got about 10,000 free experience for it, and then I think I was only like 1,200 away from the from this ship here. Now, before we go any further, I can't pronounce the ship name. I could try Budyonny or something like that. I'm just going to call it the Budy. Yes, B-U-D-Y, Budy. So this is the Budy. And I was a little surprised. Now, the clip we're looking at is the maiden voyage, right? I didn't put any flags on her. I have no camo on her, nothing like that. I just wanted to take her out and see what she had. You know, compared to the Kirov, I did not keep my Kirov. I thought about it, but then I was like, meh, Kirov, no, I'm okay without it. At Tier 5, I'm happy with my Marblehead for a cruiser. If I were to get another Tier 5 cruiser, it's going to be the Königsberg. But frankly, if I'm playing Tier 5, I'm probably more than likely going to be in my Minikaze or my Kamikaze. So for that reason, I just didn't see the need to keep the Kirov at all. Went right for the Budy. Now, the Budy is a interesting ship. When I read the description provided about the Budy, basically what I read was that it was the same thing as a Kirov, just more armor. Now, the ship is completely stock, so obviously I don't have the final hull, so I can't talk about the extra armor and or hit points that the extra hull provides. However, what I can say is that I was a little surprised. This ship, well, I guess I shouldn't have been surprised now that I say it, but this ship has no armor. No armor. It's basically just like cruising around in Nuremberg at Tier 6, I guess, because Nuremberg has no armor either. So it's very similar in that respect. One pleasant surprise I got out of this ship when I first took her out was the rate of fire. I was not expecting such a fast rate of fire. Although it makes sense. You can definitely tell that the turrets, or the gun barrels themselves in each individual turret, there are 3 turrets, are further away from each other than they were in the Kirov. And if you remember the video I did in the Kirov, that was actually, historically, that was one of the biggest problems with the Kirov itself, was that the gun barrels were so close to each other that whenever the main batteries were fired, it would disrupt the aim of the other gun barrels, and then consequently the aim would have to be readjusted and just took more time to fire each gun. So the rounds per minute on the Kirov went down significantly. The Budy here was supposed to correct this issue and just be a stronger, sturdier version of the Kirov. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess it kind of is. I really find that they play very, very differently. The only similarity I find between them, in fact, is the lack of armor. It's the total lack of armor that, you know, you have to play the ship fairly passively, or at least pick your moments to get in there and start doing some damage, right? Which I guess you kind of do as well with the Russian destroyer, so kind of keeping to the Russian line here, for now anyway. I mean, the Russian cruisers are going to get a lot more beefier as we move up the tiering. Anyway, maiden voyage, right? Like I say, the biggest thing, the biggest surprise for me here was the actual rate of fire of the Budy here. It's fantastic. I don't have any issues with her at all in terms of rate of fire. One thing else that I was expecting, but you know, always nice to see, was just the speed of the ship here. She can do about 35 knots, which is not too bad at all. It is, you know, exactly the speed that I would want to have out of a cruiser. In fact, you know, we've talked about before, I really enjoy my Japanese cruisers, and the biggest, well, not the biggest, but one of the reasons for that is definitely the speed of the Japanese cruisers. They're just that much faster than, say, an American cruiser. And I just enjoy having that little bit of extra speed. So it's very nice to have, you know, a nice, fast cruiser here at Tier 6. Something else that is fairly nice is the maneuverability of the ship isn't too bad at all. Keeping in mind, again, you know, this is stock configuration, so the maneuverability is not too bad. I can get by with it without any issue. You can tell definitely that this is my maiden voyage because I'm struggling, right, to actually hit anything, because I'm still trying to figure out the firing arc of the ship. It is a little different than the Kirov. Now, whether or not this is an actual statistical difference, that you can look at the numbers and see the difference, or whether or not this is just a perceived difference on my behalf, being my first time in the ship, I'm not 100% sure, because I haven't sailed the Budy very often as of yet, right? I think I only have 2 or 3 battles in her, because essentially I got her last night, took her out for a few runs, and then got off and went and did other things for the evening. Anyway, we are on fault line, and you can see the battle isn't going very well at all. My team is basically getting owned right now. Not really a surprise, I suppose. I mean, our team really split up, right? I mean, I went with the guys with the members who went over there on the east side, and the east side didn't do so well, right? Actually, this isn't Fault Line, this is Trident. Yeah, sorry, this is Trident, one of the new maps, I apologize. Anyway, we have this Clemson coming up, and he's right in front of me, so he launches torpedoes at me, I launch torpedoes at him, and in true Thotgor fashion, for maiden voyage, I end up dying fairly quickly on, but I take someone out with me, yes. That Clemson paid the ultimate price, and he's going down. He's going down with me, so that's pretty fantastic. I was happy enough with it anyway. One thing, just aesthetically, about the Budy here as she capsizes and sinks, I do, again, I know we discussed before, but I really like these animations here with the ship sinking. So we're jumping into the second battle of the Budy, but I do like the way that the Budy looks. I find she's a very sleek-looking ship. At Tier 6, I think, in my personal opinion, that the Budy is actually the nicest-looking cruiser at Tier 6. The Oba is alright, in my opinion. The Nuremberg doesn't look so great. The Cleveland, right? I don't have any significant love for the Cleveland myself. But, you know, in my opinion, at Tier 6, this Budy, it looks like the best, yes. I'm not going to say, yeah, I have to be careful there. I don't want to say that it's the best cruiser Tier 6, because in my opinion it's not. Plus, I don't have it fully upgraded yet, right? So I can't really say whether or not it's the best cruiser. But, yeah, I like the way it looks. Something I'm excited for, obviously, is going to be to get the second hull on her. I really want the anti-air upgrade on this ship. Now, being stock right now you'll notice, yes, I did throw on some camo on my flags, because, you know, the excitement of getting that first battle out of the way is done. This is the second battle that I had in the ship. That being said, what was I talking about? Oh man, Thotgor. Yes, final hull upgrade. Right now I don't have the final hull upgrade, obviously, and I've been considering putting on the acoustic sonar ability as opposed to the defensive fire right now, just because my range is only 15 kilometers. That's the stock range, and I say only, I mean that's actually a pretty good range, to be frank. I do have a spotter plane, obviously, and that's going to increase my range, but I hate the spotter planes. I hate them. I don't enjoy using them at all. I think the view when you aim is terrible, so I don't use my spotter plane. I was actually quite angry that it doesn't give me the option of having a fighter plane on the ship. Maybe that'll come with the final hull upgrade, I don't know. But anyway, the final hull, when I you know, without the final hull, I might get the acoustic sonar ability, because I'm going to get closer in to potential destroyers, right, and torpedoes, so I'll be able to see that, so I've been thinking about it. But once I have that final hull upgrade with the extra AA armament, oh yeah, I'm going defensive fire all the way. Essentially, what I see the Russian cruisers becoming, and I'm thinking about this as I'm saying it, at this tier, at Tier 6, you know, you are going to want that extra AA ability, and the Russian cruiser really does become, I don't know if it becomes, I was going to say it really becomes an AA cruiser, and I'm struggling with this because the cruiser, the Budy itself, and I mean the Kirov as well, has some really good range to her, right? And I'm just thinking about the other AA cruisers in the game, which are the American cruisers. And at Tier 6 we have the Cleveland, obviously. Now the Cleveland's range was reduced a little, and I think though that you can get that back up there a little, but I think that the Budy here is still going to outrange a Cleveland. So that being said, this might be an actual crossover between an anti-aircraft cruiser and maybe a gun cruiser, maybe. The Japanese cruisers, of course, still sort of being jack of all trade cruisers, right? They can really sort of handle any sort of situation. Maybe not. They maybe not be able to handle it the best, right? Like a Japanese cruiser wouldn't be able to handle shooting down a bunch of planes, but they can still get the job done. And that's what I mean by jack of all trades. But yeah, we'll see. So in the Budy, I'm cruising over here to the west side, right? I want to try and get in here and help out my team a little, maybe cap this points as well. You can see we're at least contesting it. B is right now being contested by the enemies as well. However, my team is in there trying to do something about it. In fact, I think we're going to be actually start capping B here shortly, so that's not too bad at all. I am putting shots into the Pensacola. Now, one thing that I'm not sure of as of yet is whether I should be firing high explosive or armor piercing. Now for this, the next maybe 5 minutes of this battle, I actually thought that I was firing high explosive. I did not realize I was firing armor piercing, so there's that. But for the most part, I have been firing high explosive at ships at range. When the ships come in really close, depending on the type of ship, I have, in the third battle, I think, experimented a little with the armor-piercing rounds of this ship, but I still have more experimentation to go. At the Tier 5 level, that's essentially how I played the Kirov, was high explosive, 10 kilometers out, and then armor-piercing 10 kilometers or under, thereabouts, right? Obviously, if like I have a Cleveland, for example, that's 11 kilometers away from me, I'm probably going to be firing armor-piercing at that Cleveland, but the general rule of thumb for me with the Kirov, and I think that it's going to be the same story here for the Budy, is that your armor-piercing will probably work better close in, and further out you're going to want your high explosive. That's what I'm assuming. Not 100% sure on that as of yet, because again, still new ship and I'm still learning the quirks here of the ship. One thing that I do, well, kind of makes me lean towards using the high explosive is the increased chance of fire that the Russian guns got, right? I can't remember exactly if it was all the guns or if it was just as a nation, but I'm pretty sure it was as a nation, and the high explosive rounds are going to have a better chance of setting fires now. So that's sort of why I'm leaning towards the high explosive as opposed to the armor piercing, but again, more experimentation needs to happen here. Now, just on a side note with talking about experimentation, yes, I'm still experimenting with the Shimakaze. I'm having mixed results in terms of the short-range torpedoes, having some mixed results, because at the tier 10 level there are some pretty nasty destroyers and pretty nasty ships that you come up against, and it's the players are a little more skilled most of the time, and it's a little harder to set up some ambushes, but we're still working on that one. So at this point in time in the battle, you'll notice that my hit points are almost all gone. In fact, I just took another round or another salvo there from the Pensacola in the background, and so you can see exactly what I mean about the weak armor on the ship, right? A lot of the hits that I took, I'm pretty sure were Citadel hits that the enemies got on me, so there's that. But again, it's not dissimilar to the play style of your Nuremberg, if you happen to have a Nuremberg, right? Basically keeping people at range. If you do move in close, you've got your armor piercing loaded, ready to go, and you're just putting shots into the enemies as quick as you possibly can. The Budy does have a good reload. We talked about it earlier. I'm not complaining about the reload speed on this ship as of yet. I'm pretty satisfied with it. In fact, the biggest thing is the armor. You just want to play this ship differently. Now, something else that I find, and I don't know, there's a number of different factors here. The first one, which I know is not true, but I'm going to say anyway because it's at the expense of myself. The first thing that I could assume, but I know it's not true, is that I enter into battle, people recognize me and immediately want to take me down. I know that's not true. As much as maybe it would be nice, no, it's not true. Anyway, the more truthful thing is, the Russian cruisers are still fairly new to the game. I imagine that people see a Russian cruiser in a match and they want to take it down because they want to see how durable are these ships. What is it going to take for myself to kill the Budy, or how easy is it to get a Citadel on the Budy, for example, right? So that's sort of what I think is going on here, because you do get, at least I seem to get in this battle, get focused down quite quickly. And to further the point about seeing a Russian cruiser and wanting to see what that cruiser can do, right, and how hard it might be. That was a nice shot by my ally, by the way. Nice torpedo strike there. But to see how durable the ship is, what she can stand up to, and whether or not your ship can take her on, and that sort of thing. I've been doing it myself when I come across a Russian cruiser in game. From the tier 5 upwards, I've been trying to get myself into a position where I can take on the Russian cruiser so that I can see what it's like to fight a Russian cruiser. So there's that as well, right? Now the third thing here too is that it's not maiden voyage, but damn near close, second battle. Still haven't figured out the ship exactly, so it's very possible that I'm pushing forward too much. I'm giving the enemies too much of an opportunity to take shots off at me, and in which case that would be my own stupid fault, which I don't put it past me, frankly. So there's that. But again, I'm fairly happy with the Budy here. Not a bad cruiser as of yet. I'm excited to get her fully upgraded to see what she can really do. But as of yet, not disappointed with the cruiser as it stands. Now in our battle, you can see that my team has capped A. We have capped B. We've got a pretty good lead in points. The enemies only have 4 ships remaining, 2 destroyers, a cruiser, and an aircraft carrier remaining, so that is not too bad either. One of the enemy destroyers is about to go down. We can see him there in the distance. I believe it's a Kagero. Almost going to go down. Is it a Kagero? No, it's probably a Fubuki, considering I'm in a tier 6. Yeah, probably Fubuki. I'm not 100% sure, but whatever. It doesn't matter. Enemy destroyer is now dead. Another enemy ship gone as well, so we have 1 cruiser, 1 aircraft carrier remaining, so it does look like we are actually going to win this battle. Yes, would have been more surprising had I won the maiden voyage, but keeping with maiden voyage fashion, not very surprising. One thing off topic, actually, I do want to mention from yesterday's video. I called yesterday's video "Don't Tread on Me." I know there was only 1 negative comment towards the video, but I just want to clear it up because personally, I'm one of the most open-minded people you'll ever meet, very accepting of really anything, but I did not use "Don't Tread on Me" as the slogan for the Republican Party or the Tea Party, whatever. I'm Canadian. I don't give a flying fuck about American politics. Frankly, I think American politics are stupid, but that's me. I used it in reference to the American Civil War, right? That was a slogan that was used, "Don't tread on me," right? They didn't want the king, basically, to come over and tread on them and all that lovely stuff, so that's why I used it for the name of the video. I was in the Rune, we had some pretty big obstacles to overcome. I didn't want people to tread on me. We ended up winning, so that's why I used the name. Just wanted to clarify that. Again, I know there was only 1 negative comment about it, but I just want to make it clear, especially considering the current situation with American politics, because this channel, there are certain things on this channel that we will not discuss. Politics are one of them. There are other things I will not discuss. I'm not going to mention them because I don't want to spark a conversation around them, but those are things that I will not discuss on this YouTube channel. It's just too personal for people, and I don't want to offend anyone, so that's just why I wanted to mention it. Anyway, getting back into the battle. We have now finally capped the 3rd cap zone. There are still 2 enemy ships remaining, but I'm getting myself into a position here where maybe I might be able to get some final shots off at the enemies before we win. You can see right now in terms of points, we're at about 888 points at this point in time, so that's pretty good. We have a Mikkel or a Kutsov off in the distance here. Going to start maybe putting some shots into this guy if I can get him into range. There he comes into range, but you can see still, I'm still trying to figure out the firing arc on the ship, where I should be leading in order to get maximum value for my hits here. And yeah, I hit the Kutsov, but I didn't actually do any damage, which kind of sucks. I was still thinking and still considering at this point in time whether or not I should have armor piercing loaded, especially considering the Kutsov is giving me broadside, right? We know the Kutsov doesn't have lots of armor to trade other Russian cruisers. High citadels above the waterline, right? So it'd be fairly easy to do or to get a citadel on this player, I would think. But I kept with the high explosive. I mean, it worked out because the player now is, dead and gone. but still, as a cruiser captain, you know, you really should be switching between your ammo types given the situation, and I know this is just new ship, I suppose. Anyway, we do get the victory. I did not accomplish a whole lot in this game other than not getting killed, which I'm pretty happy with. You can see I'm sort of middle of the pack. Oh, sorry, sort of middle of the pack here in terms of overall points. You know, I did a bit of damage. At this point in time in the Budy, you know, I'm just happy with getting that much experience because obviously I want to start to unlock some of the modules and the upgrades for the ship here. Upgrades for the Budy, right? I want that. And you can see some nice glory shots of the ship here as well. So, overall impressions of the Budy as of now, I'm not disappointed. I'm happy with the ship itself. Obviously, we still have a bit of a relationship to build here with this with the ship, but already off to a good start, right? Given the name of Budy, how can you go wrong with that? Anyway. Thank you guys for sticking around, watching the video through. I do hope you enjoy it. Remember to leave any comments you have for me in the video comment section below. Love reading those, responding back to them. Hit the old like button if you did like today's video. Hit subscribe if you were not a subscriber. And as always, I do hope you enjoy the rest of your day.